Hello, disc golf fans, and welcome back to another edition of Running It with Nate Sexton. I'm your co-host, Jarett. He is the Innova team captain and our host, Mr. Nate Sexton. Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Happy New Year, Jarett.
Happy New Year to you, man. Here we are. It's 2021 already. We're a week in, coming off of an awesome show for the first of the year. We had Paul Macbeth on, and we had a little run-in from Mrs. Sexton and Mrs. Macbeth. Nate, what kind of feedback you getting after that episode?
I'm getting lots of messages. I can't believe we're already on episode 6 for one thing. I think it's going quick, and I'm definitely getting a lot of people reaching out and just saying they're enjoying it and keep going. So, that's encouraging for me. It makes me really glad that I agreed to do this show and that we got it going off the ground. And speaking of Hannah and Bree getting on there, that was really exciting for me just because, obviously I record this show, so I know what's coming usually on an episode. But that time, Paul and I both were out of the room and totally unaware of, who was a mouth breather and who wasn't a mouth breather, and they got to talk and say their piece, and it was really funny to listen to that with my wife and hear the jokes that they made and the silly questions you asked them. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and you know what? She was a natural, and I look forward to having her back on. She was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we can convince her to come back.
Yep, here we are, like you said, man, on episode 6, and it's really been flying by. And as you guys know, every Friday morning, our show is available on platforms everywhere, and we're able to bring it to you guys free of charge thanks to our sponsors.
And this week we've got 2 of them, and it's the same 2 that have been with us since the beginning. It's Fisher Disc Golf and Disc.USA, 2 companies that kind of took a chance on us and partnered with us early, and that we really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some, like you said, a couple amazing sponsors out there. Now, Disc Dot, for those of you guys have heard us talk about Disc Dot a lot on this show. And that's a company, Nate, that they're not just a great product, but it's really a first-class company, man. They've been doing so much to give back to the disc golf community. Disc Dot has started the hashtag Grow the Sport initiative. Every month, they're donating a percentage of their net sales back to the disc golf community. They do it in a bunch of various ways. They have partnerships through Diversity Disc Golf and Disc Golf for a Cause, but they're also working with course builders and teachers of the sport like Danny Diaz with Disc Golf Worldwide. And this is a company that truly wants to grow the sport, and they've made a commitment to helping that effort, man.
Yeah, and that's great. But also beyond that, it's just kind of a fun product to use. They sent me a couple, and having them on the practice basket is just like another little reason to get excited about getting out there and throwing some putts and give you that feedback with that whole aim small, miss small concept. To have that little pop of color in the middle of the basket that you're kind of keying in on and trying to hit gives you good feedback and just gives you another layer of input and feedback for how your practice session is going.
Well, if it's good enough for Nate Sexton, it's good enough for me. And I hope all of our listeners will check them out. They're at disc.usa.com, and you guys can check it out for yourself. They're on Instagram and Facebook under Disc Dot. Now, Nate, because of this show, listeners can save 10%. And what's that code again?
We keep it simple. It's always run at 10.
That's right, guys. That's run it, RUNIT, and then the number 10, and that'll save you 10% off. Check out disc.usa.com, and we thank them for sponsoring this show. And Nate, we wouldn't have a show at all going if it wasn't for those folks over at Fisher Disc Golf. The support that they've been given to us has been absolutely amazing. We had Levi on last week, and we talked about the fact that we've been able to set up a long-term partnership deal with them, and they're going to be showing the show a lot of support, and we really hope the listeners will show them the same support. Guys, you've heard us talk about the disc stacks. Check this out on Facebook and on YouTube. Fisher Disc Golf, every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. You guys can buy your pulls in advance. For those of you that haven't heard us talk about it before, it's an awesome concept. They set up 3 stacks on the table. You buy what is called a pull, meaning that you get to pick stack A, the 7th disc, and right there live on that feed, he'll walk over and pull that disc out, and that disc gets mailed out to you. They do expert packaging. They really do a wonderful job over there, and we can't thank those guys enough. Fisher Disc Golf has really been awesome for us, haven't they, Nate?
Yeah, they're great. And, just for a little bit of transparency for the listeners, Jarett is out there kind of pounding the pavement, talking to potential sponsors. But, sorry, Jarett, but this is still my show. So I'm getting, obviously like a right of refusal with any advertisers that want to work with us. So I'm getting a chance to kind of meet virtually, via Facebook message or whatever, potential advertisers, talk about their business, talk about what they want to do in disc golf, and kind of just make sure they kind of meet the field test and the eye test for me before I'm going to represent them on the show. So these two companies have been really great for us. And I think they're just run by nice people, and they're just straight up. They're doing what they can to have a disc golf business, and would definitely appreciate if listeners would go and support them.
Absolutely, guys. And if you're not on Facebook, you don't do the YouTube thing, they do it the old-fashioned way as well. You can go to fisherdiscgolf.com. They've got 18 different brands of discs on there. They're introducing new stuff every day. Hoodies, baskets, signature discs, some awesome dye job discs. Really just, it's fun to get on there and just kind of look through. And Nate, I know that you get that Innova hookup now, but you remember a time how much fun it was to get a new piece of plastic, right?
And honestly, that doesn't go away. Once you have the hookup, you still can get pretty excited. But yes, absolutely. I remember wanting to try, everything under the sun, and want to feel and test all kinds of discs.
Right. We're all disc golfers at heart, so we need these things to get out there and play these rounds. And because Fisher Disc Golf supports the show, and Nate's got that hookup, he passes it along to you. Nate, what if they want to get on there and save 10% off of buying a couple discs? What coach do they use?
Go ahead and try Run at 10. I promise you that one's going to work.
Run at 10, and of course, free shipping. Another big thing right now, man. Free shipping, that's huge. So you get on there, pick out all the discs that you want. Because you're a listener of Running It with Nate Sexton, you save 10% at checkout when you use Run at 10, and then free shipping. And we really thank Fisher Disc Golf for sponsoring this show.
Absolutely.
Now, Nate, we've taken care of all the business things. We've got some great sponsors. We let everybody know about them. Guys, we got that out of the way. And we've had some awesome guests on Running It with Nate Sexton, guys that you've come up with as a professional, some of the biggest names in disc golf. And I don't know if I've ever been more excited about an episode than I am today. Nate, who's our guest?
Well, we got a star in a different way in disc golf, kind of a media pioneer, a guy who's a veteran of the tour in his own way. It's the founder of Central Coast Disc Golf, Mr. Ian Anderson.
Ian, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you, man. I told Nate, and we were talking about this actually right before the show, and you probably don't even know this, but a lot of the reason why this show is called Running It with Nate Sexton is because of how Nate would be on Champs versus Chumps, with the with the Chumps. They're in a great position here to go ahead and run this, but they've elected for their third layup, and that was something that always stuck out to me. And I said, dude, how do we not just call the show Running It? And that's how we got to it. So thank you for that inspiration, man.
That is awesome. I love hearing that. All credit goes to Nate, though, I'm sure.
I'm glad that joke is still funny to me, because it's kind of the crux of the whole thing. It's like the keystone to my whole act on the Champs vs. Chumps series, is like that feigned ignorance of like not understand, being such a pro that I don't understand that mistakes happen. And I'm just kind of like, really, Heiser here, what a decision, when obviously it's just a shank, and shanks happen all the time, even at the pro level. But my whole shtick is like pretending that it's all terrible strategy. Every mistake is terrible strategy, not an actual mistake.
When the putt hits the lock.
Yeah.
Great layup.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's been awesome. And I like the whole commentary thing. I did like a commentary for a guy named Steve Yang, I think, out of Portland, where I think his company was called like Bullseye Disc Golf. And this was a straight to DVD release. If I'm, you may be dating myself there with the, that was probably like 2007. And I think after that, the first place I ever did anything was with Central Coast. I think you guys were probably the first ones who ever paid me anything for commentary. I know you bought me a microphone early on. So
yeah.
A big part of my start of doing that media side of the sport is all thanks to you.
That's so cool, man. I love all the Central Coast veterans out in the disc golf media world. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we got some hellos out of the way, I think we got to start at the beginning, and you got to let us kind of know the genesis. Like, how did Central Coast even happen? Obviously, you played disc golf, and you decided to. I don't know if I've even ever really asked you this before, but I want to hear the story from you.
So I think it kind of starts with me making video game YouTube videos. Where like they play, they do commentary over it.
Yeah.
So I did that for Battlefield by Company 2 for a couple years, and I just like really liked. It was kind of fun getting the fan interaction, doing the commentary, and doing a little editing and stuff like that. And then I just got super into disc golf when I moved to the Central Coast. I met like a really cool group of guys. You know, Kevin Estrada, the first guy I did commentary with back in the day, and we just got really into disc golf. I went down to the Santa Maria Open that year, and it was right before Worlds in 2011. Santa Maria is like a couple hours, 3 hours from Santa Cruz or whatever. And like Schusterick and Emac, Joe Revere, and a local pro, Gabe Cotto, were on the lead card for the final round. And I was playing the AM side, so I was already there. And I just bought my wife this really crappy digital camera. And I was like, I posted on Reddit disc golf, and I was like, hey, if I go film this, would anybody watch it? And then they were like, yeah, that's a cool lead card. So I went and did it, and I made the video, and it was really bad. And I just never stopped.
It couldn't have been that bad. It's bad compared to your current standards, of course.
Yeah.
But
it was with like a digital camera that had like 2.5x optical zoom, so it got like just pixels, after a while. And I was like, dude, the commentary was like, oh, you guys this is a great putt coming up. Watch this. Oh, this is sick, just like giving away every shot, because I don't know, I didn't know how to do it right, but people were really nice. They left, constructive criticism, and I always felt that's a huge part in getting better is listening to your audience, so. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like back then, what little disc golf was being filmed, a lot of it was like commentary lists too. Like commentary didn't really become a thing until a little later, largely probably due to you putting it in there and making that, part of what people expected.
Yeah, I think the only one that had commentary when I started was Disc Golf Monthly. Have you watched that, Nate?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yes, with Cubby, RIP, and Jimmy and all those guys, and it was like once a month, and I wanted more disc golf to watch, so I started making more disc golf to watch.
Yeah, and it was such like a, the footage may be like more than a month old. Like it wasn't anything like a, and what was your timetable? Obviously there was no reason to even try for any kind of next day thing back then.
No.
So it was just kind of like after a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took like a month. I was like still working during the day and just edited at night when the wife was asleep, and however long that took me. Obviously not as many graphics and stuff, so that part was easier, but still.
And then when did it kind of like, or what was there any like moment that like made it get more serious, or was it just kind of like a slow build, and then you wake up one morning and you got 10 guys working for you and you're doing the worlds, or what?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that, a little bit of both, right? Like I started doing like local tournaments, filming the friends, and then I was like, oh, Masters Cup in town. I started to go to Masters Cup, and then some guy on Reddit hit me up. He's like, I got this cool tournament in Montana. You want to come film it? We'll fly out. I was like, sure, man. Free trip to Montana. Awesome. So I went and did that. And then I think once I started going to Worlds, like 2014 Worlds is when it started to feel pretty cool, pretty real.
And so at the beginning, you're like doing it all for free. And then it's like maybe travel, and then it evolves into, obviously it's like once you have a huge team and you're doing next day, it's like that's like way more than a full-time job for that weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody out there listening doesn't realize how insane it is for Central Coast and Joe Mez and all these crews now to like film that afternoon and go home and like eat their dinner and do all the other stuff that you have to do just to be alive as like a human being, and like cut together all the graphics, everything to have it ready for like somebody to come and do commentary the next day. It's crazy.
It's wild, man. It's so funny. Like you got to credit McFly for making that leap, though. McFly's so high.
Yeah,
like he was the first guy to start doing next days, and I was like, man, if he can do it, I could probably do it too. So for Masters Cup, like the next year, I went and I just had my template all ready to go. I edited it all by myself. And
wow.
I finished at midnight, like did commentary until 2, and then went to some guy's house I'd never met at and slept on his couch.
Wow.
Disc golf.
How much does Ian love disc golf? He said, free trip to Montana. Awesome. I've been to Montana. I drove through it for hours and hours, and I didn't see anything. I don't. Where are they playing disc golf?
You should try
Nate
again.
has been to what I was talking about. That's the Rocky Mountain Championships, Nate.
Yeah, I don't know if it was called that when I went there, but is it at Bohart?
Yeah.
So I played something there, Montana States maybe, but yeah, it was beautiful. That was like in Bozeman or something. It was
just outside Bozeman. Yeah,
that was a nice venue for sure. I think it might have gone away, unfortunately.
It did. Yeah, I got bought by some people who don't like disc golf.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Sad.
But yeah, so then I guess I don't even know what tournament you were getting me to do commentary for at the very beginning. Maybe something in Oregon. I mean, we're both from Oregon. I guess we should get that out in the open too. Is that we're both born and raised kind of in Oregon, and now neither of us live there anymore. But
yeah,
kind of had that tie that you were kind of more willing than your average guy to like come up and film something in Oregon, I guess, because see family and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always an easy trip up there. I remember for 2014 Worlds, we filmed 3 cards a day for 7 rounds, and those are all up on YouTube, by the way.
Wow!
And I remember trying to get money out of the PGA to come do this. They're like, I can maybe give you like $500, and I was like, I don't know, whatever. And it didn't end up getting anything. I think the first time I got was the next year. Innova helped out for 2015 Worlds a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then when did we start? Like, what was the first Goofy video that you did? I mean, I know Champs vs. Chumps started before me, but was that the first time you did like kind of a non-tournament?
I think it was, man. Yeah, I was in the winter, and Paul was just like an hour and a half drive away. I was like, this would be kind of fun. See, Paul's down, and he was down, so we did it. I think that was...
Tell the listeners how that came about, and even what Champs vs. Chumps is.
Yeah, so Champs vs. Chumps is, it's kind of your pros versus Joes for disc golf. So it kind of evolved as like, I wonder if me and 2 buddies could beat Paul Macbeth. And I was like, probably can't, but I'm going to try. So I called him up, and we met him in his home course, which that's a terrible idea right there. Huntington Beach is also like kind of long. Like not, I don't know.
Long enough.
Like, it's long enough where he can get a good advantage. Like if it was Morley, we might have done something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so just hit him up, and we were getting beat so bad at halftime, he called one of his friends to come out and help out, John Torres. And then then we did the rematch at De La, and that's the year you were touring with Paul. And I think he maybe done. Yeah, you must have done commentary before. I was like, we should have Nate do commentary because you're witty and funny, and we hung out a little bit.
Yeah,
and the rest is gold, man.
I don't know that I'd ever done it like that. Like it seems crazy to think about now.
Yeah, true.
Just to try it like live like that kind of. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun, and it was easy for me in that situation because it was like Paul and I obviously was spending every waking moment with him pretty much while we were touring together, so I had all kinds of ammunition for poking him a little bit and making fun of him and making the whole video kind of silly. So definitely a sneaky kind of brand building thing for me, which I never, you think, oh, this is just some one-off like goofy thing we're going to try, and it's crazy how many people like that might be the first thing out of their mouth when they meet me somewhere. It's like,
that's fun, man.
Yeah, Champs versus Chumps, and that's like their, that's like their thing that they want to talk about, not like winning USDGC or any other disc golf playing related thing, which is okay with me. Like, that's fine. That's just I'm fortunate to have been able to be kind of like multifaceted that way and like dip my toes in a couple different things within the game of disc golf. But yeah, it's cool to think that now I've done. I guess we've done 10 of them together now.
Yeah, and you're also like part-time disc golf director for Starter Pack Challenge. You directed that whole intro.
Yeah, I think. Starter Pack. Yeah.
Wasn't it the same day, Nate? I think it was the same day, dude.
Did we do that all in one day?
I swear we did.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like
it's not like we're just hanging out with nothing to do in Santa Cruz very often.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Starter Pack Challenge was a classic, and that was one of the ones when I remember watching it, and I was like, I knew it. The pros get better discs than we get. That's why they're so much better. Look at this. And then, after a couple holes, you guys started coming around a little bit. But those first couple holes, I was like, I knew it. I know it. They've got better equipment. That's why I throw at 120, and they're throwing it 600.
Nate started off hot on that one, I want to say.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. I keep getting lucky with the Champion Plastic, but yeah, I think I got birdie, which I like have literally never done. The actual tournament, never have I got 2 birdies to start De La.
Those are incredibly hard holes.
And then also the what is it called? Battle of the Eras? Was that was the other one we did, right? That was goofy.
Yeah.
That's kind of gotten a big following because that was like really funny. Where'd
you guys get those clothes from?
Just Goodwill. I remember going to Goodwill and just trying to get. I was supposed to be the 80s guy and Paul was supposed to be the 90s guy. And I think Simon was just kind of 2000 or just Discmania sort of because he had a little bit less of a library to choose from of discs. And then Kyle, our buddy Kyle Sawtell, played in that as well. He was kind of like traveling with us as like a vlog producer for Paul and I's tour. And he played as like the 2010 guy. So we just kind of tried to play into the stereotypes of what the style from those periods might have been. And have these weird discs that you never heard of, and that I remember that being really fun. Just kind of like, it's like I've never really done any like acting or anything like that, but it's like fun thing to pretend to try to to try to do. I definitely enjoy like playing a role, and I wish I would have tried it more like when I was younger, because I didn't really know I liked it until later in my life.
You guys killed it, man. So I get so many comments about Eagle chucking the watermelon out the window and breaking the window.
Yes, people that stuck with people way more than I thought it would. Another one of those weird little moments where it's like just the YouTube comments like the watermelon. That was pretty funny.
For Starter Pack 2, we didn't get. This is a shame on me for not doing it, but the intro, I really wanted to do like. Have you ever seen the Godfather?
Yes.
And like the horse's head in the bed.
Yes.
I want to do that with like a watermelon and eagle. Like.
That would have been so amazing.
We can't get Eagle to play, and Nate's like, I have an idea, and then it
I can make him do it.
I have my ways of persuasion. I don't know, something funny. And then it cuts to the scene of Eagle waking up in bed with a smashed watermelon all over him. Maybe in the next one.
I think the coolest part of Champs vs. Chumps for me is when I'm watching it and I finally realized, like, maybe it was Champs vs. Chumps 3, and I'm like, man, Nate's like right there while these chumps are on the tee box. He's not hiding in a truck somewhere or off camera. He's like right there talking about this as this is going on. And of course, adding all of the pressure, and it shows in plenty of those shots. But Nate, what's that like? I mean, obviously it's all in fun. You're having a good time, but you ever get anyone mad at you while you're doing that?
No one who knew what they were signing up for, but I will say there have been a couple people who did not, in fact, understand what they were signing up for. And I wouldn't say they were like outright angry, but certainly like turning around and looking at me with like their brain is sort of glitching right now. Like, what's happening? It's supposed to be my turn. I paid for this chance to throw. Like, what are you doing? And then and then someone will tell them, or I'll tell them, like, yeah, this is what this is.
Have you not seen one of these?
I definitely, that's the craziest thing too, right? And that was like Ricky, when we did the one with Ricky and Paige, and it was like, hey Ricky, so like, yeah, this is what's going to go, have you seen one of these? No, I never have.
Yeah.
Like, I just agreed to do it, but I have no idea what this even is. He just he just throws discs. If you ask him to show up and throw discs, he will.
That's on brand for Ricky.
It is. But yeah, it was, I don't know. It's like, so definitely like slightly annoyed people for sure. But I absolutely relish I'm definitely like trying to impact the score with my commentary. Like I'm definitely trying to make them
so good in PEI one year, man. I have just a vivid memory of this one hole. He said something right before I started to throw, right as I was throwing. I was like, God, you got me so good.
But I don't try to make it too easy on the champs either. I'm certainly biased towards the champs a little bit, but I definitely try to give it to them if they ever mess up and make them a little nervous too, because they're not immune either. I mean, nobody's used to having commentary in their actual ear as they're trying to throw. Like it's terrible. I would probably hate it. But I love being on the right side.
You remember that? They we thought about moving you away, and they're like, we want to hear you, giving us crap. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Which one was it at?
It was one of the Canada ones.
And you try to move me away from the tee a little bit more?
Yeah, you're like, maybe I'll be over here so they can't hear me hear me talking about them, and then they're like, but we want to hear Nate talking crap about us.
Yeah. I like I like doing both. I like to have some things that everyone can sort of hear, and I also like to sneak off and say things, and usually when I'm doing that, I'm thinking about Ian finding them later. So I like to try to say a few things that he's never going to know about until he's in, and then I think of him hopefully laughing while he's editing, because I'll try to do a few. I always try to do a few jokes that no one knows about except me, where I say it quiet, or I sneak off and say something into the mic that won't be revealed until it actually releases.
There's nothing more fun to edit than a Champs versus Chumps stage. I just sit there giggling the whole time. It's ridiculous.
And they're a lot of fun to watch. Now, Nate, you're kind of like the coach almost of the Champs team at this point, because in the last Champs versus Chumps, you went to the bullpen, and you made a change halfway through. What happened there?
So that was another slightly on brand move, because James Conrad had just totally forgotten that he was slated to do Chumps versus Chumps, and and James is like fantastic guy, no question, love the guy, but he's not like a cell phone answerer. He's not like a text. He's not a text reader. So he's not like the type of guy that you're like, James, like I need to talk to you. Like it might be a while before you can get through to him. But somehow we did, yeah. And he realized, oh shoot, I'm on the other side of the island or wherever he was. He was like a 20 or 30-minute drive or something from the course, is what I remember. But luckily, Zoe was always planned to be in it, and Dustin was right there. And Dustin's a fantastic player and a good guy with a good sense of humor. So, we were able to kind of call an audible and get him in there. And he always knew, and everyone knew, at least all the champs and the video crew and me knew that James was eventually going to get there. And it just became a pretty obvious move to try to do the whole feigning ignorance thing that my character does on there is like, that was the obvious move for me to be like, oh man, this guy kind of looks like James. And I love doing those too, because I've done that a couple times. I did one with Dustin in San Francisco too, where Dustin joined. I'm like, man, this guy it's uncanny how much he looks like Dustin. And then you'll go see the comments, and there's like quite a few people get confused by it, where they're kind of like, wait a minute, was that really James? And you're like, oh, that's perfect that worked.
Yeah, we snuck Drew in.
You pulled it off.
Yeah, Drew in Maine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that line I love too, because making fun of Drew is, again, a very easy and fun thing to do. So I think I remember talking about how, man, this chump can really throw hard, but if he had even any touch, he'd probably be a professional.
Oh man, you toe that line perfectly, Nate. Like there's a mean line and you never cross it that I've heard, man.
I try to, dude. I don't know. It's like, I think I get a lot of leeway because people know what they're getting into for sure. Mm-hmm. And and it's like a thing that people are looking forward to it now. So now I can probably get away with being meaner than I would have dared to be at the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I'm glad that it's there's definitely times where lately where we've been doing them, I start to think, man, I don't know what I'm even going to say. Like, have I already made all the jokes? And then I sort of think, but who cares? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. And just keep going. Because if it's still funny to me, then it's probably still going to work. Like, if I start to get sick of it, then I wouldn't want to say those jokes anyway. But so far,
a lot of that material writes itself, man. I mean,
it kind of does.
They're lining them up for you, and you're just knocking them down.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's just kind of watching the action, and just trying to play up the drama to like an unreasonable level for like a super casual day out playing and acting like, oh my gosh, the champs, just the nerves they must be feeling now. And just acting like it's such a big deal.
Although I tell you, that totally cured me of my tournament nerves. Like, I don't have them at all. Yeah.
Good. It's probably, I'm sure Champs versus Chumps is harder to perform in front of all those people and with somebody like talking in your ear. That's a more nervous feeling likely than anything but like the final putt for the win or something,
Yeah,
like, you're not going to get those kind of nerves just with like 3 random guys in the back corner of the park. Like there's not many eyes on you, so it's probably scarier to have 50 chumps and all the cameras and knowing that your throw is going to be like available for years and years on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
That's a pressure all its own to know, like, I'm going to throw twice today. Like, I better nail it, or else all my friends are going to just remember this forever.
Yeah. What was it? Champs versus Chumps 10? That girl nailed it. All right. On that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like I think that was like her fiance or something though. Right.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe like her ex showed up and she was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this opportunity. And this is.
Those are honestly the hardest moments for me because, like, I want to make fun of it, but also it's like, man, you got to have a heart too, because that's tough for everyone involved. Like, that stung the guy that got hit with the disc from point blank, but she's also like peak embarrassment. Like, very easy to tip that into not having fun anymore.
And then she had to go again.
Yeah, I know. The very next hole, which I was shocked. Like, I thought they should have, maybe played the timing a little different, but that's Chumps for you. They're not aware of that kind of stuff, the momentum and the different ebb and flow of the game, but they put her right back out there. And yeah, she nearly did it again, but she did a little bit better. But she seemed super good spirited about it, which was great.
Totally. Yeah.
I think everybody.
And I think I got a message from either her fiance or her, and they were loving it, man. So
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Her form looked good. That disc came out hard. I mean, it was. It snapped out aggressively for sure.
Yeah.
She should be proud of it.
Just a little Richardy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard couldn't even touch that. I don't know.
Ian, what's it like to see, Champs versus Chumps every time a new edition comes out? And obviously COVID's really put a halt in your plans, but every time you see the crowd get a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger, what's it like to see this thing that started out as just you and a couple of your buddies to see if you could beat Paul to these huge groups that show up now?
Yeah, it is crazy. I really cannot believe how it's evolved over the years. I kind of always thought it would just kind of stay me and my homies, trying to battle the pros. But I get so many messages. I want to be a chump. I want to be a chump. I want to be a chump. I was like, well, might as well start charging for it, and make this a deal. Make it a real thing. So.
That was a genius move, I think. I mean, it took it to where we could kind of like make it a, you've like flown me places before, so it's like that's awesome. Like then it makes it a thing where it can be a fundraiser for Central Coast and your guys' efforts to do everything, and you can get all the cameras in place, and people are pretty happy to do it. I mean, to have the chance to be featured on the channel and have that fun memory where they can not only rub elbows with like some of the greatest players in the world, but also maybe throw a fantastic shot or maybe a terrible shot. Either one. You kind of want to do one or the other. I feel like
yeah, you gotta
either
make it
throw
work,
great or bad, and you'll have like this memorable moment in the video. But that was definitely a cool change, and it's crazy. I mean, I must have answered at least 200 messages in my life where it's like Central Coast does the planning. Like I cannot confirm or deny where any new Champs vs. Chumps will be. I can't help you. Like if you want one in Iowa, I can't. I'm not the one to ask.
That's what, because I always put it back on you. Kind of. I don't exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, is Nate gonna be there? And that usually they go, oh, yeah. I guess he does need to be there, huh? I'm like, yep. Yeah, he's the guy doing the talking. He's there.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that works. That's a two-way street for us, I think. That works because it's not like you can't obviously, if you can't say yes to them all. I mean, there's no way. Then we'd be at volume 200 already.
Exactly.
Wouldn't be any time to film the real tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the real tournaments, though, didn't you guys just have kind of a major announcement for Central Coast going forward in 2021?
Yeah, super excited. We got a FPO league card for all the NTs.
Sweet.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what we can do with that next year. Hopefully,
that'll be great. I mean, definitely that division is heating up quick, I would say.
Isn't it? Yeah,
it's great.
It's getting competitive. Hope the Euros can come over next year.
That would be so. I mean, I wish they could have last year because there were some like Haley obviously stepping up in a big way, and a lot of people playing really well. But like, I think we maybe even talked about this on a previous episode. But like, the three top European women are like, they might all be like in the top 5 in the world. Like they're so right. Good. Mm-hmm. So to see all of them in the same place, I can't wait till the next chance we get for that. I don't know when exactly it'll be, but it will be a battle. I promise you that.
I hope Haley can get paid to run for her money in the whole point series and every term along the way too.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly seem so. Obviously it's going to be hard to match Paige's consistency, but Haley's top end, not a lot of people can even say that their top end can touch Paige. So that's step one. If you can, go toe to toe and even come out on top, especially in the biggest pressure situation that we've seen so far on the DGPT finals, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And she seemed like, almost like borderline weirdly cool in that moment.
She bored almost.
Like she didn't even like seem to care hardly that she had just won like the biggest prize. She's won more money than Paul Macbeth has ever won playing disc golf. Like that sink in. She's 18 years old and she's got a bigger check than he's ever gotten in his whole career. It's like nuts.
20 P's 18. That's awesome.
If he hears this, do you know what that's going to do to him? He's going to the second he hears this, he's grabbing his bag and heading out to the basket.
Yeah. More motivation for the McBeast. I've been guilty of that too many times. I should have just patted him on the back all the time. That would have been better for my career to just kind of say, "Hey, man, you're doing fine. Take a rest. Take a load off."
And obviously, you watch a ton of disc golf. You're going to be covering the girls this year, so it came up. We're talking about it. A question that I get a lot in our inbox, Nate, is: could Paige compete on the men's side if she got into these men's tournaments? Now, you guys watch it both. I'd be interested to hear what you guys both think about that.
I mean,
Well, you got to define compete. Like she
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
be she wouldn't be a laughing stock. I'll tell you that. Like
you're right.
she could cash. Not
Mhm.
all the time, but she could
Right.
cash intermittently would be my guess.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's underrated at 990 or whatever. She feels to me a little bit better than that. A true 990 rated player, I think, would have a hard time, but I feel like she just gets some bonuses for being like battle hardened, like able to make a 40-footer in the biggest moments. Like she's
Mhm.
won it all. And so she's like such a champion that I feel like she, I'll give her 10-10 rated sort of like feeling when you're seeing her play well. So, I mean, I don't, certainly she couldn't win any tournaments at the elite level, but I think she could definitely get in there. There's been tournaments where she's probably averaged close to like 10-15 or 10-20 for a 4-rounder, I think.
Yeah. And maybe if the course wasn't like super long, but
Yeah. I mean, she kind of throws super long.
far. She does throw super long already.
I feel like I think her and I throw the same. Like, I don't know that I have much on her. She can rip. So I don't know that distance would even be that bad. The thing that I think would be tough for her is I feel like she plays such an aggressive brand of disc golf.
Yeah.
And part of the reason she can afford to do that and learned to play that way is because plenty of times she's taken like a triple bogey in it and she can still win, still recover. And if she had been in the men's division the entire time, I don't know if you would develop quite that style of play when it's like, oh shoot, I just lost $200 for running that into the water.
That's a really good point.
So, you might see a different brand of golf when you're like jockeying for position with every putt or make or miss coming down the stretch.
She's like, I've seen her just run silly stuff before.
Yeah, she goes for everything and she makes half of them. Like, she's incredible. I would trade her straight up. I would trade her circle 2 putt right now. Like, I'll take it. I'll just take her, let her do everything for me from 35 to 70. She is like, she is without a doubt more successful than I am from those ranges.
It's incredible.
I love whenever anyone talks about ratings now. The only thing I think of is Big Germ saying back on episode 3, well, 1020 is like the new 1007.
There's some truth to it. There's some truth to it. There's just more players out there now. And I think actual ratings inflation is probably also a thing too, statistically. Just that, like, slowly they all just kind of rise up. I don't know the underlying math behind it, but I've seen that kicked around, even at the like PDGA level, like, questioning whether or not there's like some slow advancement of like the average.
I bet you there is.
Yeah.
Is it Chuck? We need to hit up Chuck about that.
I think I don't know that he still handles it, but he definitely invented it or had a huge hand in inventing it. Yeah. Chuck Kennedy, in building the rating system out. I'm not sure that I don't think he still like oversees it at this point, but it kind of just does its own thing. I mean, ratings are funny, you hear a lot, I wish they'd go away, or, we don't like them. And I just sort of think that's what people with bad ratings say. But honestly though, I mean, they mean nothing. They're only for fun. But I think they're pretty fun. I think they're probably the most fun perk that comes with PDGA membership. Like having some liability insurance is good, but it's very important, but it's not fun. But like ratings and statistics, like if they didn't have that, I don't know that I would have been so keen on joining the PDGA in the beginning. But like having the data points and just being able to kind of nerd out on like, oh yeah, well then my rating might go up this much, and I think people love that. So I hope we never lose them. But I also agree that they actually don't mean a whole lot.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better. Ian, I've throughout the time that we've been doing this show, we've got the email set up, and I get a ton of questions that have come in, and a lot of them are based around Nate's time with Champs vs. Chumps, and I think some of these questions might be better answered by you. Would you mind taking a few fan questions while we got you today?
I would love to, man.
All right, cool. We've got Tom from Instagram asked, and you kind of answered this already with how Paul got in there in the beginning. Were there ever any plans to add any different pros? Did you ever have any pros turn you down and not want to participate?
No, not yet. I have more like people reaching out to me wanting to be champs,
Though I feel I'm not willing to name names here, but I do feel like there have been some times where some pros have questioned the status of other champs.
That was so weird.
And I don't want to put anyone on blast, but
Yeah,
there
we
have
won't.
definitely been times where it's come in and been like, oh, really? So that's what a champ is?
Yeah, they took the champ part very serious.
Yeah, it's a high
Yeah.
honor.
It is. It is. I was like, wow, they're taking it more seriously than I take this thing. This is incredible.
That's how you know you made it.
I guess so, right?
Nate, a question that comes in a lot, and I think we maybe have seen you once or twice. Scott from Facebook asked if it ever gets hard for you to sit there and watch and not want to jump in and play on either side.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have gotten the chance to jump in a couple times. And I would do that I think I've played for both sides for sure, just to try to keep, because we're trying to make an entertaining video at the end of the day. So anything I can do to keep the score like from becoming a super blowout is a good thing, and like the time that I got to put on the disguise and pretend I was Corey, and then I got to play for the champs a couple times when they were getting kind of behind, or not able to stay with the army of chumps. So yeah, there's definitely been times where I've been like, Paul, let me play. Like, you guys need my help. I think I remember Kansas City. Didn't they lose pretty soundly?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
And
that
I
was
was
the
like,
first
man,
loss.
just let me know when you want me to throw. And he was too proud. He didn't want any help. He thought he could dig himself out. It turned out he couldn't. But yeah, it's for sure. I definitely like to. I would, if I had my way, I'd sneak in and throw at least one in every episode. But it's kind of hard too, because that means I have to carry my bag, which I don't want to do, because it's like kind of a long ways with the mics and everything, and just having the discs on your back the whole time, never setting them down. And also, it's also kind of a lot of pressure to throw with like them. This is chump life for sure, because they don't get warm up either. They're just walking forever. But I feel like it's a weird thing for me, and for them too, I'm sure. But just to like step up on the tee, haven't thrown in like 90 minutes, and have to execute a good shot. I got to be careful now that I'm 35 with just kind of jumping on the tee and letting one fly without any warm up.
Absolutely. I love when we sneak you in there, like when we snuck you in Corey's shirt.
Yeah.
Like, is that Nate Sexton? I'm like, this is so obvious, you guys. Are you really questioning this?
But honestly, if my memory serves, I threw that drive so bad that I probably made it harder for people to tell, because they're probably expecting some sweet shot. Like, I'm here to save the day. And then if I shank it bad enough, it's like, that's not him, right? And that's almost a compliment. They trust me to do better than in fact I did.
I also like the forehand roller at De La from Hannah.
That was funny.
So we had Hannah throw a forehand roller, and we had Nate throw a forehand roller on the same line, and I just cut it halfway through the flight. Oh, people!
And then I'm reacting like, that is the most fantastic forehand roller I've ever seen. That is going 400. Just like we threw the same color disc, and all of a sudden her shot is going 65 miles an hour and just like ripping down the fairway.
Really picked up speed quick.
Yeah, like, what a throw. It was pretty funny, because she was like very new at the time. Like, it may have been one of the first 10 forehand rollers she ever tried. She's definitely come a long way since then, because she was like just starting as a disc golfer.
Isn't it amazing how no matter what a chump does, as long as they've got a Sexton Firebird in their hand, they threw a great shot?
That's accurate though.
It's not even that. They could hit the first tree, but if they do, I'm going to be like, oh man, this tee is so slick. Like that, right. I'm gonna deflect, because I have to look out for number one. So I'm not
protect the bird.
I'm not going to let the Sexton Firebird take a bad rap. Even if someone does throw it straight in the water, I'm going to be like, oh man, somebody just right in their backswing, somebody's making fun of them. That's unbelievable.
I told my buddies right from the jump, I was like, we ever get a chance to make it on Champs versus Chumps, we have to have a Sexton Firebird, and he'll lay off us a little bit.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a great strategy.
You can say that's not a bad shot considering what that disc had to work with.
Or like Absolutely. The time that reminds me of the time when the guy hit the tree super early, and I said, oh man, we really can't be that hard on him, because this guy's actually, I just learned he's been playing for -6 months.
He hasn't even started yet.
He doesn't even know
he likes it yet.
He's not even start disc golfing till December, and he made it up to the third tree there. I mean, he threw that with some steam. So let's lay off this guy.
I love the genius that pops in your brain, Nate.
It's all a lot. Sometimes I have something pre-thought out, but a lot of the best ones just lucky. Just kind of something weird happens, and I end up saying something, and it ends up working.
Ian, this one comes in all the time, so I can't even give any one person credit for it. I've probably got it 100 different ways. Like somehow Nate would be the one to answer this and not you. But here it is. Everybody wants to know, man, how does it work? How does a chump get on Champs vs. Chumps?
Buy a ticket.
And where do they? And so when you're announcing a Champs vs. Chumps, you say what course it's going to be at, and people can just show up and buy a ticket, and then they're on.
Oh, so actually, I'll put it on our website, and have a stock of however many holes you want to sell, and we'll sell that many tickets to the show. And then you show up on the day, and I announce what course it's at, what pro is going to be there, and obviously Nate's going to be there. And we'll throw it on our social media. And if I'm on my game, I'll give it to Nate, and he'll throw it on his social media. And then the ticket buying frenzy commences. Usually,
they sell out pretty fast.
Usually, like in a couple hours. It's crazy.
Well, there you guys go. So you don't have to send me the message 100 times anymore, although I do love hearing from you guys. But there's the answer to that question, because people ask all the time, how can I be a chump? How can Now you know how to do it. And who knows with COVID when Champs vs. Chumps is going to even be able to be a thing again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame because we're really missing them.
I think we should do, the next one we do should just be like the Jomies and the Central Coasters, probably, until COVID's like under control. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, kick it back to the beginning, kind of with a small crew.
Mm-hmm.
It'd still be fun.
But yeah, I'd love to get them going again once we're able to and whatnot. Hopefully, we do them at all the NTs and Nate goes to. So. Also,
it'd be really hard for the champs because you guys are getting legitimately kind of good. Like the Jomez guys and Central Coast guys. There's quite a few like 980 plus level players in there now. You guys have been around the game too long. We've shown you too many secrets.
We were watching you guys for too long, man.
Yeah, you have these fantastic zooms. You probably know things I don't even know about what's going on up there with my discs. You can zoom in and go back and slow-mo replay the form. You're evil geniuses now.
I feel there's like a lot of disc golf osmosis that goes along filming you guys. I don't know. I feel like I just get little,
I could definitely see like even just like strategy kind of stuff. Like you don't even really realize you're picking up, but just like, oh, well, that's interesting. Like, or just like opening your eyes to like, well, maybe there is a hole I could go spike hyzer over the top, because I feel like that's the kind of stuff that I never thought about until I saw somebody, do something outside the box. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, that actually would maybe work on hole 13. I never even knew that was a thing you could do with discs.
I play a lot smarter golf these days.
And you love rollers. So that probably rubbed off from us too.
Definitely.
Nice.
So, I mean, I'm going to put you guys both on the spot here. This question came in on Instagram. It was from Tony, and he wants to know a favorite Champs vs. Chumps moment. Was there a single moment that sticks out? I want you guys both to give one answer to where it was just a funny moment, a crazy moment, a great shot, something that made you laugh. Give me one.
Man. Well, the good news is Ian is going to cut together a highlight package of some of the great moments. So I'm really looking forward to that, because then they'll all be in one place and on Central Coast YouTube channel. So you can, especially if you've never seen Champs vs. Chumps, that's going to be a great way to kind of get your feet wet and see what it's about.
Definitely.
But man, the one that's popping in my head, and I feel like there's too many good ones, but the one that's popping in my head is way at the beginning with Paul and the diamond earrings. And that being kind of like a funny moment.
One of my favors.
Where he takes Hannah's earrings and puts them in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because Paul's definitely, he's not afraid to like have a nice earring or like a gold chain or something. He's fully SoCal.
He's not afraid to have a nice earring.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have pierced ears. I don't know. I feel like that's a Southern California move, like a diamond, or like it's like a Florida. It's like that's a different culture than like. I don't know anybody from Oregon that's like, yeah, I got a pretty expensive earring. That's like pretty, like a blingy, like I personally have not. I don't own any of that stuff, but not like hating on that idea. It's just like, that's part of who he is. He's down to get like a pretty fancy chain or whatever, Mm-hmm. So like that was like just a funny, from where I was standing, that's always been something where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought of getting my ears pierced or anything, so that was just a kind of a funny moment. And he was totally in on it, like he was joking with it and leaning into that stereotype. And, that's one of the things that makes him great, is that he's like able to laugh at himself and tee one up for me to make a funny moment happen.
Paul's low-key kind of like an internet troll, like with the jokes and that, he's funny like that.
He's really funny. He doesn't
Yeah.
get enough credit for that, just, and maybe that's by his own design. I don't know. He's kind of a quiet guy, I think but he definitely burns people sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Simon just recently put out that tier list stuff, and he's like ranking players this, and Paul like shared it and said, two fans discussing the disc golf, it's just low. It's just like a quick little thing, but it's just like such a burn for Paul to be like, oh yeah, Simon the fan just out here discussing who has the best putt.
Plus, Yuli had to find out he's not in Simon's top 5 either for sidearm players.
That'll hurt.
It's Simon's making waves out there. Oh,
Yuli, I think Yuli will tell you, and you can ask him sometime. But we've talked about this a couple times on the show. This is becoming a running theme on Running It. That Yuli is self anointed a top 5 forehand of all time.
What?
Of all time, he's 5th. He's not asking for much. He's not putting himself first, but he's 5th on the all time in the history of disc golf charts.
Exactly 5th, not in the top 5. He's exactly number 5.
Yep, he's 5th.
Are we talking about just forehand upshots?
Forehand, yeah. Well, that's what I often counter with. But yeah. You're talking about all around game, all around. But yeah, it'll be an argument that echoes through the ages. I don't think we'll ever we're never going to be able to get conclusive evidence one way or the other. So we can discuss it forever. But
that's good, man.
But yeah, we should have him as a champ. Honestly, he'd be hilarious.
Oh, he'd be amazing, man. He is so funny, man. I love filming him, man.
Yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him for a champ. That'd be funny. Him and Germ would be awesome. We should do that.
It would be really good. I was gonna pick between like personal awesome moment where I threw an awesome shot, or like just awesome, Champs Chumps moments. I think the coolest Champs Chumps moments are like the aces with Simon and Paul. Those are pretty cool. I think my best Champs Chumps shots is actually La Mirada. It's like 430-foot hole. It's downhill, obviously, if I got close. But I threw this like crazy anti-flex. It like super late, and I got like 5 feet out from the basket. And I've never gotten within like 40 feet of that basket any other time. It's just like a random lucky shot, and it was awesome. And Paul hit my putt out of the air because I got closer needed.
That is true. Gosh, that we need that should be almost even a separate highlight video. But the times when the chumps have like come through huge, those are all those moments are so awesome. I mean, I'm like, it's my own ego making me think only about commentary moments when I think about my favorite moments from the thing. But but yeah, like there's been so many times where like somebody's just thrown in, like that guy in Maine made like a ridiculous forehand through the trees, and like just there's a lot of those where it's like 60 feet and you're just like, of course they're never going to make this. And then some guy, especially when it's the 4th one to come up, and then they hit this huge clutch shot. That makes the whole thing. It makes the whole video work when guys are making shots like that, keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, it almost feels like fake. It's so awesome, when the 4th guy bangs it.
Yeah, for sure.
But those are all real, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, Ian, if anybody is new to disc golf and for some reason they've been under a rock and they've never seen any of these champs versus chumps, how can somebody find Central Coast Disc Golf? Where should they be looking you up? Where can they find out and keep track with everything that you got going on?
Cool, yeah, they're all on YouTube under Central Coast Disc Golf, and I got a couple I got a Champs versus Chumps playlist if you want to walk through all those, or I think I got a Fun Round with Paul McBeth and Friends playlist too. Got a couple on there, the Starter Pack Challenge and the Battle Layers type stuff, and we're on Instagram, Facebook, all Central Coast Disc Golf. So yeah,
follow us there. You could be a chump. Plus about 1,000 actual tournament professionally produced videos as well.
Yes, there's also
we're sort of painting you as a comedy channel when really Central Coast is such a huge library of old footage and amazing moments from big time tournaments.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I got some great ones, man. 2014 was a barn burner. I want to go watch the best disc golf worlds I've ever seen is Paul McBeth 2015. That was incredible.
Yeah, the playoff. 15. Yeah, 14 the 15, playoff, but then 15.
Yeah, 14 was incredible in the battle, but 15 you just destroyed everybody.
Yeah, and it didn't start out that way. It was like the last couple rounds, just like flamethrower. It was crazy.
He shot course record like at least twice in a row, if not 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, and I'd really hate myself if I didn't bring this up because this is one of my favorite parts of Champs vs. Chumps. What an awesome theme song you've got on the beginning of that, man. So for everybody that's going to check that out, I absolutely love that theme song, man.
That's another Oregon connection. You know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys from Eugene.
Rockin' with Brock, is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, Rockin' with Brock. That's my buddy Evan. He's actually he caddies for Dustin Keegan at Worlds every year. Maybe not last year, but he has. Yeah.
It's a killer song. I need to find more of his songs.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's like, it was a funny story with that. Like, I saw he friend requested me because he's a Central Coast fan, and he's friends with my sister on Facebook. And I was like, how does this guy know my sister too? And it turns out my brother-in-law and him were friends, and he was at my sister's wedding, obviously, so I was there too, but didn't actually meet him until later. And then he threw that song up on Facebook, and I was like, this song jams, man. He's like, can I use it for Central Coast? He's like, that'd be awesome. And, the rest is history.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a great introduction. So guys, you can check out all these Champs vs. Chumps that we were talking about, and all of the other footage that Central Coast has, because again, they've, like Nate said, thousands of hours of disc golf footage, and they'll be following the ladies on the lead card this year. So tons of great content and a lot of big things coming out for Central Coast. We've got you here. You've got the ears of the fans, Ian. Is there anything else that you want them to know about that Central Coast has going on? Websites, sales, anything that you're doing?
Gosh, man, just working on that Champs Chumps best of video coming out soon. Got the FPO coming up, and we'll see what's working for next year. Should be great.
Thanks for coming and joining us, talking with us, and also just thanks for opening the doors that you opened for me with commentary and for all the pros, really. I mean, I just feel like we're all indebted to you guys that we're willing to grind to do the media, because I think you have played a bigger role than you maybe realize, and I hope as disc golf media continues to explode, that you and Jonathan and McFly So High and guys like that, history is going to look on you guys as like really big figures in the sport of disc golf, I think. So I just want to thank you for that, for all the time you put in, thankless time early, and seeing that pay off and just having you guys out there has been huge, I think, for the game and for the athletes and for the fans.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate all those nice words, man. And I really appreciate you coming on for Champs Chumps and all these funny, silly things we get going. And you're awesome, Nate. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, and I appreciate you, Ian, for doing it. The fans love it, and if it wasn't for Champs vs. Chumps, there might not be a Running It with Nate Sexton right now. So, cool. Keep it going, man, and we look forward to following you this season.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Well, Nate, it was really awesome to have Ian on the show today. And like I said, one of my first experiences in Nate Sexton was Champs vs. Chumps. So to be able to talk about that and hear kind of how it all developed, and you could actually hear how much fun you were genuinely having talking about it, it was really cool for me.
Yeah, just fun to go down memory lane with him. I mean, Ian's a great guy, and has provided that platform for me and a lot of my peers for a long time. So definitely cool to get to talk to him and hear his side of how it all started.
Yeah, like I said, I had a great time, and we wish him the best of luck with this upcoming season. Being on the women's lead card, that's a big jump for Central Coast, and look forward to seeing him out there.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, we thank you for joining us. Remember to check out our sponsors, disc.usa.com and Fisher Disc Golf. Anything that you need disc golf related, Fisher has it there. You can check them out on Facebook at Fisher Disc Golf, or, of course, their website, fisherdiscgolf.com. And, Nate, what's that code again?
Run it 10.
And speaking of it, Nate, when everyone else has been kind of just laying it up here in the beginning part of 2021.
Me and you, we only know one way, and that's running it.